We are so pleased to welcome on set today from the town of Plymouth, Robin Carver, who is the town planner. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Julie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for being here. Now, I interviewed Robin back 5.5 years ago when you first came to the town of Plymouth. It seems like yesterday, but a lot has happened.
Yes, a lot has happened.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the hot items that are going on in town. Sure. And let's start with affordable housing, which is clearly an item for all the towns around here. We in Plymouth have 20,000 housing units in total.
Correct.
And how much of that is affordable?
So we've got over 20,000 total, and we have online through the development process when we develop and approve projects, we have 394 affordable units that have actually been approved.
Okay.
Not all built, but they have been approved. And then there's another option if they are not building them on site in the development that's been approved, there also is an opportunity to do a payment in lieu of. And we have close to $4 million in monies from payments in lieu of that'll be coming to us through these projects as well. Some of it we have now, and some, I think we have about close to 600,000 actually of that money, and then the rest of it is in the process, and it comes as units get built. Okay. The kind of in payment plan.
So you're saying if they don't do all that they said that they would do, they're still going to pay the town payment in lieu of taxes?
No, they have to provide 10% of their project. 10% of the units have to be affordable.
Okay.
Some projects, it doesn't make sense to have them be built on site. Like for instance, we have several 55 and older communities going in right now.
Yep.
And the state does not allow you to discriminate against families.
Okay.
And families aren't allowed in the 55 and older.
Right.
So they can't put them on site.
Gotcha.
So they have to do a payment to us in lieu of. And there's a calculation that is worked through the state, and it's a required,
and the developers all know it.
And they all know that.
Yep.
So really every project is different depending on what the project is and how it comes about, the location, the type of housing. Do they do an on-site or do they do a payment in lieu of?
Okay. And that's always been a problem, that we don't have enough affordable housing or workforce housing. So talk about the development that's going in. Is it by Exit 5?
Yes.
Okay.
The 40B, the Oasis.
Okay.
Yes.
How many? That's the 394.
There's 320 units there.
320. Okay.
Right.
And those are small. Those aren't like family homes. Those are smaller.
No, they're apartments. They're actually apartments. They're mostly 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. There's a few 3-bedroom apartments. But there are 320 units total, and it's through the state process, which is called a 40B, which they are allowed to come in and kind of go through the process without really getting our approvals, but they still go through our process, and they try to work with us on that. But the good thing about that is 25% of their units have to be affordable instead of the 10% that we require for the town.
That's great.
So we get more affordables, and then also all 100% of the units qualify for our state requirement. The state is trying to get all the towns to reach 10% of their total housing unit.
To be affordable.
To be affordable. So 100% of those units actually go towards that. So we just doubled. With this coming online, we'll be doubling what we have going towards our 10%.
Okay. And so for anyone who's concerned about what will that affect for the traffic and the infrastructure, what is part of that? What is part of the deal that you strike with the developer so that mitigates some of those problems?
Right, because I know people are really concerned. I mean, that's a lot of units, and everybody's worried about traffic, water. There's a lot of issues there. They have a mitigation package that is part of the development requirement, and they have agreed to, and it's an extensive package. There's going to be a lot of transportation improvements in the area that they're required to fund and put up and have done at certain stages of the development. There'll be improvements on Long Pond Road, intersections, and things like that. That whole area is really a big area under construction because we also have the Obery Street construction going on now as well. So there'll be a lot going on there, but they're a big part of having to provide a lot of that mitigation for the transportation. And water is an issue all the time. And they've worked closely with DPW, and there is quite a big list of things that they're going to be doing to improve that, so that we can take away some of those concerns that we have.
That's awesome. And more to follow. Marijuana. Tell me about marijuana.
So marijuana, it's always an interesting topic, right?
Where are we right now? What's the state of the marijuana in Plymouth?
Right. Well, there's a lot of support and a lot of opposition on this one, which is interesting. We have the state requires 20% of our alcohol licenses to be to give you the number of retail marijuana establishments that are allowed is 10% of our 20% of our alcohol licenses,
Okay.
which right now is 4.
Okay, so we can have 4
So
marijuana.
we can have 4
Okay.
full across the town of retail.
Yep.
There are no limits on medical or cultivation, but there is on the retail.
Okay.
So the retail right now, we only have one right now that's in existence. It's not even, the retail isn't even there yet. It's the Triple M right here.
Yeah, which is
on
right
Collins
here. Yep.
Ave. They are open for medical and
Yep.
cultivation.
Yep.
They are waiting right now for their state approval for their retail.
And they'll be the first one
and
to
they'll-
open.
They'll be the first one to open.
Okay.
We have one other one that's been approved, but we haven't seen anything happen.
Okay.
And then we have one that's in the review process right now that is
Okay.
going to be a mix of the retail and cultivation both.
Okay.
And maybe medical. I don't know about the medical. And that's it. But we have 3 transport companies that are just transport around marijuana.
What does that mean? Define that.
They do not do any growing, cultivating, or even holding or anything. They literally are a place where they transport from one marijuana establishment to another.
Okay. Within
So-
the town or from anywhere?
Within the region or
Okay.
anywhere.
So they have to have a
Right.
special license to do that.
They do, and I think that's become quite an industry because they need people to move this stuff around. So we have 3 actually that have been approved and are underway.
And only one facility right
And
now
one
that they
facility.
can run to.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
So so that whole business will increase.
It will,
As-
but the
as
good
a-
thing is it's very controlled of how
Yeah.
many.
Okay.
Right.
Open space.
So open space, yes.
It's always a topic.
Yes, everybody,
Yep.
Plymouth is a beautiful town.
is. It's gorgeous.
It is, and there's
Yep.
so much. Everybody wants to preserve as much as we can, which is great because it's so big. We
Yep.
have a lot of development. I mean, it's what it is, right?
Yeah.
So the good thing with the development process, when there's a lot of residential development going on, but with the process, we have different ways to create open space that gets to be preserved. Right now, we have close to 5,000 acres of open space that has been preserved through the development process. A large part of that is definitely with the Pine Hills and the
Right.
Red Brook process
Yep.
because they're large master plan communities.
Right.
They both have preserved a lot of open space. Pine Hills over 2,200 acres they're required to, which is 70% of
And
their
that was
development.
right in the whole package from the get-go.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. And same thing with Red Brook, another master plan special permit. They have 1,600 acres that they have preserved
Yep.
in and around, not only in the development, but have actually sold off to the state in conservation easements and restrictions all around the area. So they both have quite a large amount. But we have over 1,000 acres that has been preserved through some of the smaller developments, like the rural residential developments and village open space plans that all require at least 40% of them to be preserved in open space.
And once something's in open space, it's very hard to get out of open space.
Very
correct?
hard, yes.
It's,
Conservation restrictions go on those.
Yep.
And it's pretty much, it's in perpetuity. If there was ever any way, I mean, they'd have to go through a special permit process again to try to
and there has
undo
to be
it.
a really good reason
Really, I don't
for
know
taking
if
it out of
that's
open
very
space.
difficult to happen.
So
Yeah.
that's always, though, a consideration when you're approving any kind of development, is it not?
Sure.
The open space is a big part of that.
It's a big part of it.
Okay.
They can come in with standard subdivisions where they just meet all the standard requirements of the lot sizes
Yep.
and roads and everything and not do it. But it's really beneficial to everybody, preserving open space, and it also reduces the length of infrastructure that
Right.
they have to build by clustering.
Absolutely.
So it's a win-win, really.
Okay, excellent. Now, Entergy is now sold?
Yeah.
It is now, okay, and the
not
acreage?
sold. Not
I mean, it's not sold.
Not sold.
It's not sold. It's transferred. The
So
responsibility
right,
has been transferred.
decommissioning and
Yes.
trying to figure out what we do with it, right?
So there's 1,500 acres
Yeah.
that we'll probably be talking about this for a long time.
Right.
What to do with those 1,500
Right.
acres.
Who owns it?
Who owns it?
Does the town buy it? Does
Right.
the town buy some of it? Hopefully, as we said, I don't have a lot that I know of it other than we really will be looking for a really strong balance of everything. We need some economic development,
Yep.
but there's also some really pristine, beautiful
Yes.
Pine Hills area there
Yep.
that people would love to see is conserved for open space.
Right.
So, where it ends up, I don't know at this point.
Yep.
We're still kind of working
There'll be a
on all
lot
that.
of presentations made over the next
Sure.
few years and a lot of studies done, and everyone will have their ability to open their mouth and talk about what they want to see there.
Right,
Because it's a lot
right.
of space.
Yeah,
1,500 acres is
yeah.
a lot of space.
Right, exactly.
Let's talk about, speaking of space, the waterfront area.
Yes.
Now, this whole area master plan has been going on for
Couple of years. So this
3
is
years?
So yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So this is the downtown Plymouth Center and Waterfront Area Master Plan. It's one of the 5 villages. We have the overall master plan for overall Plymouth that is certainly something that we need to be discussing soon about having that updated, because that needs to be done, but that's a huge endeavor. This is one of the villages, and we have the 5 villages we hope to every 10 years or so update those. So we've been working on the downtown plan.
DCR, a lot of people don't understand what does DCR do in the downtown area? What does that have to do, and what is their area of control versus the town?
So DCR is the State Parks and Rec program, and they own actually the waterfront area that we all see down there by the Mayflower and the Rock and the beautiful park that they redid with the bandstand and the Shell and all that. That is owned and controlled by the state, and also Coles Hill. So the town doesn't own it, so when we want to have anything happen down there, events, we have to get approvals and permits from the state. So that's sometimes that can be frustrating, but that's just what it is. So they own that portion.
Was that difficult to weave that into your waterfront area master plan?
Well, we don't really. It's just what it is.
So that's just kind of a fixed thing, and you can do everything around it.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's all part of the plan.
Okay.
But right. So the master plan itself, what we try to do is, update goals and vision of what we'd like to see, and look at the past plan and look at the accomplishments and what has actually happened. A lot of people think these plans, do they really get utilized? They get put on the shelf, that kind of thing. Well, we really do work with them, and every time we update a master plan, we look at all the accomplishments, and we have a whole list of many accomplishments that happen over the years through one plan to the next. And then we try to build off of those. We try to look at the last plan, what is still pertinent, what do we want to move forward in this plan as a goal, and how do we achieve those with actions and policy and that kind of thing.
And you always have to take into consideration the people who work on the waterfront, who live by the waterfront, the traffic, the parking, which clearly is something that we'll, as a town, will need to address moving forward, especially going into next year. And I know there's a lot of conversations going on right now about that.
Right. I mean, one of the key items that they have coming out of this master plan that they really are concerned about is wayfinding. How do we move people through town? How do we guide them, not only in vehicles but to pedestrians, and safety and crosswalks? And it's a very busy, small, tight area. It's very old. So that's a big portion of their first pilot projects and their priorities in this one. And also parking, as we know, is huge, and as we saw this weekend, is always an issue.
Yeah. Now, are you going to present this at town meeting?
Yes.
So what does that mean?
So the master plan document itself. It's put together. It has all the different sections that addresses the economic development, housing, public spaces, and recreation. Any of the elements historical, cultural, and tourism. So it goes through the different boards. They get their approval and their support. So tonight it goes to the select board, and they will be presented. They have the executive summary that gives them the basic outline of what it is, and then they have a link to the whole master plan. It's like 70 pages or whatever, that they can, it'll get presented tonight, get support from the select board. Tomorrow night we go to the FinCom and advisory committee, and then the planning board is next month, early September. And then once we go through all the different boards and we have their support, then it goes to the town meeting in the fall.
And it's voted on, yay or nay? Is it in total or not in total?
No, in total. It's basically,
so
just getting everybody's
through it.
Yes, getting everybody's support to take this and move this forward, and everybody agreeing on
the plan as a whole.
The plan as a whole.
Okay, and last but not least, let's talk about public art.
Public art,
which I know is a big favorite of yours.
Yeah, it is.
So what do we have going on in public art?
So, I mean, some of the things that have been going on the last few years are going to continue to go on is the utility box wraps, which have
beautiful.
They're beautiful, aren't they? They're one of my favorites. I just think the images are stunning. And
they are.
And it's so much fun because it's all historical photographs of what was there, and that's just huge for this town.
Yeah, it is.
And they're just done in a really nice way. We North Plymouth has been very interested in it, and Dickie Quintal has been very supportive and is going to fund a few of them himself, which is wonderful. So I think we've got 4 that we're looking at in North Plymouth, and then we want to continue to expand these as we can through all the villages.
Why not? Right.
So
right.
we've got a few of those coming through, and then we have 2 more, I think, to go down on the waterfront as well. So
Yep.
we're working with Franklin Marvel, the artist who had done the other ones, and getting those going. So hopefully we'll get those going.
And the lobsters are gone, and the scallop shells
And
are
the
now
scallop
up.
shells
and we
are
have
up.
a scallop shell. I'm so pleased.
Yeah, I was excited. I
Yeah.
was walking around town yesterday and started seeing them pop up. So I wanted to talk to Amy today and find out, do they have the map? And I want to go look at them all.
Yeah,
so I'm
the Chamber of
excited,
Commerce
yeah.
has sponsored that again as a
Yes.
public art initiative, and it's just so much fun.
It is.
Big
It is.
talking points, and people love taking their pictures from all over the world and all over the country, which is really nice.
It's a huge draw.
It is.
really
It's a huge draw.
Yeah, it is.
Cultural events. We have Art Week. We
Yeah.
have movie nights. Porch Fest.
Yeah, it's been a fun year. We've had some things. Art Week is our 2nd year. We did that in April, and it was exciting. It was a big week, and we've done well with it. We really have. It's a statewide program, and
Yeah.
Plymouth has continued to be in the forefront of having some interesting, exhibits and fun events going on. So that's been great. And we've been bringing back movie nights, free movie nights once a month this summer, which they did several years ago.
Yeah, which is terrific.
Yeah, so it's been kind of fun, and seeing some little kid movies that I never would see anymore.
And yeah, exactly. And Porch Fest is performers on porches.
Yeah, that was fun. So some towns have done that. I mean, Somerville has a big one, and then some smaller ones in Sandwich and Wellfleet, but a lot of towns are doing it. And we just have such a wealth of talent in this town.
Yeah,
so
we
decided this year, let's try it and let's piggyback it on the Waterfront
Waterfront
Festival. Because we did a small one on North Street last couple of years, and it was really well attended, and people really loved the idea. So we kind of did it on all the little side streets from Leiden all the way up to Chilton and Howland and Brewster and North. And it was a lot of fun putting it together and just walking around, hearing all the people and the musicians and the talent is
a lot
incredible.
Of talent. We have an incredible talent. Art,
really do.
Music, all of it.
Yeah.
Terrific. So
we'll be doing that next year.
And a lot of stuff next year. Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll have you back before 2020, or right in the beginning of it, to talk about
what's going on
what's
for
going
2020.
on for 2020.
Oh, okay. I'll have to talk to Michelle Picararo.
Well, I mean, planning gets involved in a lot of this stuff,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, not too much happens without going through planning.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I'm exciting.
Yes, very. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Julie.
And we thank again Robin Carver, who's the town planner for the town of Plymouth, and we hope to see you again on PCN.